And you want to do this right here?
Yeah, might as well because you all got the setup.
Okay. So Jamarcus asked me about where my branding and business stuff took place. Let me be very clear, as I come from an area where you don't ever see yourself becoming a business person or doing anything business oriented. And you don't even know how things work. When you're a kid, I remember my first, like we kids, we like Tricks and Kellogg's Frosted Flakes, and you like Lay's chips versus the off brands. You like the real Coca-Cola, not that Coke crap or RC Cola, even though it's good.
That's Shasta.
Brands, believe it or not, consumed us as kids. What's the difference between Burger King and McDonald's? The Happy Meal. That right there connected us to McDonald's. And when Burger King and others tried to attempt to do it, it still wasn't the Happy Meal. So they coined quite a few things that drew you to this brand. And then, as people say, there's stuff going around with the soft serve machine. But it's never working. I was like, damn, I worked at McDonald's. That fucking machine never did work. So here's the thing: we're impressionable. And I used to think that indirect influences should be taught in class because you do as you kind of see, not as you're told. And I said, man, there's a lot of people who are indirectly influenced by their choices and the choices that others made who live in their life. So my brand journey, I think, started a long time ago. And it takes me back to moments, especially that I think about brands and words. And I remember when I started Think Fit 365, my friend, she gave me the name for it, so I can't take credit for Think Fit 365. And I thought it was the worst idea ever. And probably because she said it and I didn't. So that was the problem, realistically. But I had no choice because me and this dude named Duran Rush, I was like, man, maybe because we was in Arizona, I was like, man, let's create a fitness thing. And we was like, man, maybe we call it C360, which is awful, just bad names. And she says, well, Trev, when everybody sees you, especially at that time, they're like, they just think fitness. They just think fit. They just want to start talking to you about it. I'm like, this is true. I was like, fuck, it's a terrible name. I was like, I had no choice though. So, and then what took that brand to the next level was a guy named Robert Brown made me some shirts, and I'm never going to forget him bringing them into the gym for me one night. He says, Trev, I got those shirts. I needed them before I went into the school, and he made a couple different styles, but he put T-Fit365 down the side of a shirt with vinyl, and that, it's like, damn, that's tough. And then people around me at the gym, because there always was a crowd, Trev, I got to have that. So brands for me started as a kid, and even, growing up in the FUBU era, for us buying jerseys. And One was real popular. I liked the And One shoes, and I had And One shorts when I was playing various sports. Then there was, I ran track. So you wanted the Justin Gatlins with, I think Maurice Greens and Gatlin, they both had some shoes that you could purchase at the time. And one of them had the Nike Shocks at the bottom. I remember Nike Shocks being a thing. Those things were sick. When Nike Shocks came out, you had that thing like you had a motor on the bottom of your shoe. Man. So the whole time you are literally being guided by brands and sickened when people it's like, oh man, you got Great Value? That's ridiculous. Or when I grew up, before Great Value, it was Best Choice. So Best Choice was the brand in most places. And then I became obsessed. I think it was an epiphany moment where all the kids, so you do this thing, right? Think Fit 365, and it's yours. First thing that's really mine. And I'm in front of hundreds, thousands of kids over 5 years. And all the kids are like, man, T-Fit. And at that moment, your name changes because they're giving you a new name. And it is your identity, but it's what you're wearing on your clothes. And then they like, man, you do T-Fit? And it doesn't stand for my government name, which is Trevor. I'm like, think, motherfucker, think. And so you become a bigger idea. And that is interesting because now you say, man, how far can I push this stuff? And then you start coming up with clothes, do the beast thing, eat effective, efficient training, all kinds of fun stuff.
Limitations are man-made.
Yeah, limitations are man-made. Bloodline clothes. My face with half a line, I thought that was stupid. And then all the kids wanted the shirt. I literally have a shirt where it's half of my face and half a lion. And I even asked my kid Jack once, I said, Jack, what about that shirt do you like so much? He says, respect to you, love T-Fit, boom, boom, boom. If it was anybody else's face, I wouldn't wear another guy's face on my shirt. But you go, and then you think it's crazy till you see people who have Tupac and Biggie shirts, and you look at the brand Ilthy, or I think it is Ilthy, or some of those smaller brands where they've made characters as cartoon people look like Biggie and Tupac, and they put them on shirts. So you go, these people, to a degree, have ascended to a place where they're both appreciated, respected, loved, liked, and hated, but they're I guess icons is what you call it. So basically, building your first brand turns you into something you don't understand until it becomes a thing. And it's respected or hated or loved. More kids hated me than they loved me. All of them respected me because we had work to do. And the brand, the brand is what kept the business kind of flowing, and it built an identity like cool schools and kids. So now it's like, man, if you can connect to a brand, you're normally connected to their values. And you go, well, what do you value? And then you start learning about your human. And then that human, you basically can scale anything if there's good character in a brand and there's strong values. And as Jobs said, one of my favorite interviews ever is marketing's about values. I go to Barry calling now. DeBarry, what's up? Look, you could have kept that rolling though, because that's the problem. Look, I don't get bad phone calls, people. So that was my guy, DeBarry, thinking about somebody you need to connect me to. Jamarcus has been around. My phone call rings because when people think about people being better, call Trev. Literally, there's like, hey, Trev, real quick. My kid Boyer called me last night, man. I should have recorded the call. He says, you know what, boss, I love that you always answer. I'm in a pickle. He said, man, this is the best advice I got all day. I've talked to everybody. He's got a choice to either go coach and do literally a batting coach, AA Boston Red Sox, or stay in this organization because the director just left to go somewhere else. And we walked through every scenario. And at 12 o'clock at night, he's in Arizona right now, so he's 2 hours behind, but I'm sharp as two tacks. And if it's my kids' call, I call them my kids, I'm always excited, to say the least, because I know they're doing amazing things, or at least attempting to. So back to the branding stuff. You build this idea out and you go in and you see, is there some character-wise or some character affect? Affect, not effect, is how people can be affected emotionally with an A. So I know that I have conviction and consistency and ability to impart values into anything for that matter. Therefore, when I approach something, I approach it like I'm gonna run through a wall and there is no stopping me. And most people believe, hey, look, if I were you, I'd just stay out of this way. And that's a brand. There, you got people who are super supportive of strong brands. I come from Kansas City. Chiefs fans were fans when they were losing for 10, 20 years, 30 years plus. Patriot fans are going to always be Patriot. Philly fans are going to always be Philly fans. So the goal is to create that fanatical space for someone to, in my case, do dogs, do coffee, chill with cigars and whatever else you're doing. And that's branding. That is branding. When you walk out that door and, in the black community or black, I think it's called fraternity world, those guys say, I'm a Q, I'm a this, and they say it proudly. Most people identify who they are, what they do. I'm a business owner. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm an influencer. I'm a YouTuber. These things precede your being, and to a degree, it connects to people in the simplest form, and it's a brand. So YouTube build a brand. Twitch build a brand. Streamers are a thing, and all these things give you, say, clout, but respect in some spaces. When someone says, man, I tried to do YouTube, I've been doing YouTube for such and such, that's cool. If they find out that I've done YouTube or they're like, damn, bro, you got a lot of such and such. Kinda. And they'll be like, nah, bro, that's a lot. You be like, kinda. But nowadays, in segments, like having a fancy car, sometimes get you into certain car communities. Everything's about branding at the end of the day. That's what it's about. So I love a good brand. I love what it could do for people. People are going to do what they're going to do. So if you go, hey, I drink coffee every day. What's the best coffee brand? Well, somebody's got their perspective. What's the coffee brand you believe in? Now there's an emotional attachment to things. So there's got to be a give back component. Damon John and various brands. Well, Damon John invested in the stock company Bombas, and they were committed to giving a pair away. Well, that means you're losing. Every time you buy a pair, they give away a pair away. Well, that cuts into your costs. So you go, well, how are we going to do this and be profitable? Well, it's $1 billion brand now because of the value, right? And because of what these people value. And so what it do, make more people buy stock till it basically normalizes the cost. And now there's an opportunity for profitability. Marketing is about values. A brand that has strong values scales. Strong values touch people's souls and become a part of people's everyday life. My buddy Syed and many, especially because they're like builders and they cut and chop and do stuff. I only buy DeWalt or certain things when it comes to fixing. There's people who only buy Hondas and Toyotas and etc. You know? So you say, hey, when did that journey start? I started as a child because I remember loving, Kellogg's Frosted Flakes, Cheerios, and hating to see the bag Cheerios when I went to my aunt's house. And then I loved that getting certain things like, again, my dad buying me N1s and Nike Shocks and a green and white FUBU jersey. And then you turn around and you get a little bit older and you get your first pair of whatever else. But you're constantly being branded or embracing these moments of opportunity. I remember the first Abercrombie shirt I ever got. I moved to a white area and Abercrombie was the upper echelon, and the shirts from Kmart to Walmart to Abercrombie, you're talking about a $24.50 to a $30+ shirt. That's expensive for a mom who don't got no money. So getting that shirt made you feel like you were there, and like you made it. There are certain brands that make us feel special. And my goal is to build brands, impact brands, create brands that make people confident about what they're supporting, and even more importantly, walk you through the journey of embracing the brand and what it's doing and how it can help you and help others, to say the least. So branding for me is it's the best way to communicate with people you'll never meet. It's like, man, how do I communicate with these people? Build something that they need, do something that you love, share that with as many people as possible, and do it like your life depends on it. I already do that for everyone that I come in contact with. Again, whether it's whiskey, whether it's this coffee, whether it's my damn dogs, even becoming a better friend and communicator for people, to people with people, it's my personal brand. So, hey, what's your personal brand? My personal brand is being a person that cares, to impact, to inform, to take care of people. You're hungry, I'll feed you. Like there's nothing about when people again think of progress or need a place of clarity and trust, I'm the first place they go. So my personal brand alone has got so much value. Like if my stock from 21 to now was a real thing, I'd be crazy rich, because there's no place where I'm not considered when it comes to growth and how to get there. And even more importantly, all people think like, well, what's next? Just stay tuned. You just literally never know.